The United States is eyeing Greenland. Yes, you heard that right. A vast, icy island, strategic and full of potential. But why? President Trump says Greenland is critical to U.S. security. He believes its location is key in the Arctic race, a race where rivals like Russia and China are becoming increasingly active. But here's the catch. Greenland belongs to Denmark, and Denmark isn't backing down. In fact, they've made it clear any military action on Greenland would mean the end of NATO. So why is America so interested in Greenland? Is it about land or something much bigger? Stay with me as we explore the motivations, the risks, and the global consequences of this high-stakes game. Let's dive into the world of Arctic geopolitics. So let's break it down. Why is the US so keen on Greenland? Is it just a matter of national security, or is there more to the story? The island sits in the Arctic, a region that's growing in importance every year. Melting ice is opening up new trade routes, and Greenland's resources are increasingly valuable. But there's more. This isn't just about land, it's about influence. The US is worried that if Russia or China expand their footprint in the Arctic, it could shift the global balance of power. Greenland is not just a piece of real estate. It's a strategic stronghold, a linchpin in a geopolitical puzzle. And it's not only about the US, it's about NATO, Denmark, and the future of international alliances. As President Trump pushes for the acquisition, the stakes are rising. The question is, what are the risks, and who stands to lose the most? Let's explore where this tension began and why it's reaching a boiling point. To understand why this is happening, we need to look back. Greenland's status has always been complex. The island is an autonomous territory of Denmark, yet its location in the Arctic has always made it strategically important. In the early 20th century, the US established a military base on the island. During the Cold War, Greenland's military importance only grew as the US sought to monitor Soviet activity. It was a key outpost in the battle for dominance in the Arctic. But as time passed, Greenland gained more control over its own affairs. In 1979, it was granted home rule, and over the years, its residents have increasingly pushed for greater independence from Denmark. However, foreign policy and defense still remain under Danish control. Now, with the Arctic becoming a new frontier for global power plays, the US is once again eyeing Greenland. This time, the stakes are even higher, and the world is watching closely. But things are heating up. Let's look at the first crisis in this unfolding drama. And now, the first crisis. In 2019, President Trump shocked the world by suggesting that the US should buy Greenland from Denmark. The response was immediate and strong. Denmark rejected the idea outright, and tensions quickly escalated. But it wasn't just the idea of a purchase that caused waves. It was the way Trump framed it. He didn't just see Greenland as a strategic asset. He treated it like a real estate deal. The White House even suggested that military action might be on the table. Using the US military is always an option, they said. That's when alarms started ringing across the Atlantic. Denmark, a NATO ally, warned that any military threat to Greenland would be seen as an attack on NATO itself. It was a moment of deep geopolitical tension, a land claim disguised as a business deal backed by the threat of military force. But was this just a political stunt, or was it the beginning of something far more dangerous? Stay with me, because this is just the beginning of a much larger story. What's really going on behind the scenes? The public drama is just the surface. Beneath it lies a deeper mechanism, the competition for dominance in the Arctic. Greenland's location is key. As the ice melts, new shipping routes are opening up. That means faster access to vital resources like oil, gas, and rare earth minerals. Countries like Russia and China are already making moves in the region, and the US is anxious not to fall behind. But there's something more. It's about influence. By controlling Greenland, the US would secure not only a powerful military outpost, but a political foothold in the Arctic, a region where power dynamics are shifting. It's not just about resources. It's about setting the stage for the future of global power. The US sees Greenland as a way to secure its place at the center of this new geopolitical order, but in the process, it risks upsetting the delicate balance of international relations. As tensions rise, the second crisis looms. Let's look at how things are escalating. And now, the second crisis. As the debate over Greenland escalates, the stakes become higher. Just when it seemed like tensions couldn't rise any further, a new development shook things up. The US, military's growing presence in the Arctic. In 2020, the US began ramping up its military activities in Greenland, conducting joint exercises with NATO forces. The message was clear: America was committed to securing its position in the region. But this wasn't just about military readiness. It was a show of force, a warning shot to anyone who might think they could challenge the US in the Arctic. Denmark, along with other NATO allies, began to feel the pressure. The growing US military presence in Greenland was seen as a direct challenge to Denmark's sovereignty over the island. And the idea of US control over Greenland, even without military invasion, was a bitter pill for Europe to swallow. But the question remains, is this military buildup just a show of strength, or is it the first step towards something more dangerous? Now, let's explore how these tensions are impacting the people of Greenland. But what does this all mean for the people of Greenland? The island's residents, who number only about 57,000, are caught in the middle of this geopolitical tug of war. For many, the idea of becoming part of the United States is terrifying. Greenland's Prime Minister, Jens Frederik Nielsen, has made it clear Greenland's future must be decided by its people, not foreign powers. Yet, there's growing anxiety among the Greenlandic people. They fear being treated as mere pawns in a global game, their fate determined by larger powers far removed from their daily lives. Morgan Angaju, a young Inuit living in Ilulissat, says it best: "We are already claimed by the Greenlandic people." Kalaallit Nunaat means the land of the Greenlandic people. For Morgan and many others, Greenland is not just a piece of land to be negotiated. It's their home. The emotional toll of these discussions cannot be ignored. Greenland's people are not simply watching from the sidelines. They are central to this unfolding drama, and their voices deserve to be heard. This isn't just about politics. It's about the real lives at stake. Stay with me as we examine the global implications. The implications of this conflict stretch far beyond Greenland. The Arctic is becoming a critical region for global power, and the stakes are rising. As the US pushes for more influence, it risks straining its relationships with key allies in Europe. NATO, which was founded to ensure mutual defense among Western allies, is now facing an internal rift. Denmark, a founding member of NATO, is standing firm against the US. The growing divide between the US and its NATO allies over Greenland could weaken the very alliance that has kept peace in Europe for decades. But the tensions don't stop there. Russia has been increasingly active in the Arctic, building up its military presence and asserting control over strategic areas. China, too, has been expanding its reach, investing in Arctic infrastructure and resources. The US sees Greenland as a way to counter these growing threats, but this could lead to an even larger geopolitical showdown. The future of the Arctic is being written right now, and as Greenland becomes the center of this global struggle, the world is watching closely. What's next for Greenland? What are the possible futures that lie ahead? So, what's next? Let's explore 3 possible futures for Greenland. The best case scenario: a peaceful resolution. The US, Denmark, and Greenland come to the table and find common ground. Greenland's sovereignty is respected, and the region becomes a collaborative zone for NATO allies. The Arctic remains stable, and global tensions ease. The US and its allies secure their interests, but without provoking further conflict. The middle ground, tensions continue to simmer. The US strengthens its presence in the Arctic, but Denmark and Greenland maintain their sovereignty. There's more diplomatic back and forth, but no military conflict. The region sees heightened security measures, but the situation remains in a precarious balance. The Arctic continues to be a flashpoint for international politics. The worst case, a dangerous escalation. The US moves forward with a more aggressive stance, perhaps even taking military action to assert control over Greenland. This leads to a breakdown in NATO, a global crisis, and a new Cold War in the Arctic. The geopolitical landscape is forever changed, with global alliances shifting and tensions reaching new heights. The future of Greenland is uncertain. But one thing is clear: how the world handles this situation will shape the global order for years to come. So, what can we learn from this? Let's wrap up with a final thought. In the end, Greenland's future is about much more than just land. It's about power, influence, and the delicate balance of international relations. The world is changing, and the Arctic is becoming the new frontier. What happens in Greenland will have ripple effects across the globe. The question is, how will we handle this? Will we come together to ensure a peaceful future, or will we risk plunging the world into a new era of tension and conflict? The path we choose now will define the geopolitical landscape for decades to come. For the people of Greenland, the stakes are high. Their sovereignty, their future, and their way of life are all on the line. And for the rest of the world, the choices we make today will shape the future of global security. So, as we look ahead, one thing is clear: this is not just about Greenland. It's about the future of us all. Stay engaged, stay informed, and watch closely, because the Arctic is the next battleground in global politics.